Hello and welcome back. I'm Shelf Unit and this is my continuing Let's Play of Shadowrun Dragonfall. Okay, last time I got incredibly frustrated because my people were being useless. This time I think I'm going to get equally annoyed because my people are being equally useless. And we are continuing to... can I get to there? Is that going to work? This would work. And now I can heal. And come along here and fire. Really? Oh my god. Okay. So, Tiger, you need to... Really? Take down that one. Oh, you are kidding! She missed. Okay, well. What you doing here, bub? That wasn't very good, was it? Ha! Blocked. Laughable. Missed. I'm going to jack out. Let's kill you. Reload you. And Overwatch. Yeah, that way. Blitz. Okay. Good job, Max. Let's pop you to Overwatch there. Blitz, how many of you got? You've got one left. Let's send you to Overwatch here. Whap him. Slice her. Okay, I didn't realise that was uncontrolled. Okay, well, let's flip back onto this. And miss, because, yeah. Okay, I'm going to heal myself now. And then I'm going to shoot you in the head. But really poorly, apparently. Okay, no, let's not do that. Let's come out to here. And Blitz, you can come around here and shoot this guy. Oh my word. Good girl. Maxi boy, come out here and shoot this guy, please. Thank you. Really? Really? No, I need you over here. You can come out here. Okay. And then you can come back to here. You're doing good, girl. Max, I need you to come over up here. Right, let's get rid of some armor. Let's cause some damage. Glory can just come here. Max. Good hit, Max. So that you can come here, Glory. No, that's... Actually, no, I want you back in here. I have my methods. Ooh, well, that's okay. And... okay, so you can come here. Let's... You seriously can't hit that. Okay, let's get her there. I think we're pretty much done this turn. There's some more guys coming through. They're not going to reach us by the time it gets to us. They really ain't. I mean, I can get to here. Reload. There you go. Come here. Switch to this, reload. Blitz can reload. Come here. You to go. Do that. And come here. Poor old Max. Max can go there. Go on Overwatch. Like a good little Max. A couple more turns and we'll be purged. Lovely stuff. You know, they've got... Come on, Max. Max, what are you doing? Great hit, Max! But if they can't see you till you're there, that's beautiful. This is ridiculous, though. Great hit, may I add. Okay, well, let's go on to Max. Max should be able to get a bit of love in here. Blitz can go to here. Overwatch and Glory. Go girl. And then get back to here. And yeah. It's pretty much all over. Lost a little bit of health on the main control tower. Terminal even. But otherwise it's pretty. Haha. You shot my turret that's just not done anything else. Okay. Fair enough. I'm just going to reload. Get that way, Iger. You see anybody? You can't. Let's reload. Blitz, I don't think you can see anybody. You, my dear. And go on Overwatch. And Max, you can come over here. Good boy. Great job. Yeah. I'll take that. Beautiful. Clubbing it to death. What a tit. The intercom system crackles to life. A monotonous synthetic voice drones out of the speakers. Shut down sequence ready. Please activate final command node. Where's that? The voice is drowned out by the flurry of static. Monica's voice shrieks out of the speakers, pleading, "No, please, Ace, don't do it. I never wanted to hurt you. Please, don't kill me again. I don't want to die again." Where the fuck's the node? Where the hell's the node? Am I... Oh, God. You slam the button marked delete. Long buried machinery deep in the guts of the terminal spins to life. From the building's speakers a high-pitched inhuman shriek fills the air. You recognize the sound. Pure animal terror. Monica imagery appears on the screen. Her face is contorted in agony. What have you done, Ace? What have you done? Whatever of you was trapped in there is free now, Monica. I'll see you on the other side. The Monica image writhes in pain, then retches up a fountain of blue-white light. Patches of its skin begin dissolving into static. It takes a deep, rattling breath and then seems to calm itself. Say even stop. Before I'm gone, there's something that you should see. She smiles at you and shafts of light spill out from between her teeth. The truth, I wanted to tell you earlier, but I couldn't. The screen goes dark and then lights up again. You find yourself looking upon an unfamiliar scene. The words live feed appear in the corner of the screen. Something's happening, sir. Apex is going offline. Who's that? A bent, stooped figure turns to face the dragon camera. You recognize him instantly. The Dragon Slayer, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Damn it to hell. Vauclair takes a drag on his cigarette. The smoke spills out of his mouth as he speaks. This isn't good, Audron. Without the air's protection, this facility is vulnerable. We don't have much time. No, sir, we don't. Iger's voice comes out in a whisper. Oh, fuck. Vauclair isn't being held prisoner at Harfield. It's his. He runs the goddamn place. On the screen, Vauclair and Audron turn to face a strange device in the corner of the room. It looks like some sort of containment cell. A bedraggled woman with wild eyes is confined within. Tonight. It has to happen tonight. Get started on the preparations. I'll be in the lab. Yes, sir. The screen breaks up into static, and then the video feed disappears. There's a moment of silence, and then Monica shimmers back onto the screen. Her face is breaking apart, rupturing at the seams. Blue-white light floods out through the lesions. When she speaks, her voice is hollow. That is what you're up against. That is what you need to stop. If you don't, the F-state will fall. I could have helped you, Ace. I wish you'd let me, but now it's too late. Monica's face splits down the center. Light floods out of the wound to fill the screen. Goodbye. With the final sigh of static, the tortured voice falls silent. Apex is gone. A moment later, the intercom system crackles to life again. The familiar synthetic voice of the facility's mainframe drones out of the speakers. Emergency system purge complete. There's a moment of silence as the team absorbs what it just saw. What the hell did we just watch? I mean, what does that mean? It means we have a new target. Our hands tighten on our rifle. We're not being hunted by Farwing. Never were. We're being hunted by Vauclair. But why? I mean, he's supposed to be a good guy, right? Don't know, Blitz, but we're sure as hell going to find out. Come on, people, let's get back to the Cruise Bazaar and gear up. We've got a castle to raid. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we did the right thing there, but having an AI floating about in the world probably isn't such a great idea. We could have unlocked that, I suppose. But such is life. I thought it was just a controlling puppet for Monica. Maybe it was, maybe it isn't. Your trip back to the Cruise Bazaar is a restless one. Now that Apex has been dealt with, the window of opportunity that you've been waiting for is opened. The half-held manor is open, is vulnerable. The video feed that the AI showed you circles over and over in your head. Vauclair and Audran, and the strange woman on the containment device. This revelation that Vauclair runs the half-held estate, and his assertion that something was set to happen tonight. The train glides to a stop. You push through the doors and onto the platform. There's no time to waste. Yeah, I mean, an AI which had the power to basically destroy any decker that it took a fancy to. I just don't think. Wow, 12 karma. 21 karma now to spend. What am I going to spend it on? It's very, I don't know. I could reach my highest level of quickness, and then my maximum level of ranged combat. Do I have anything I can spend my remaining 3 karma on? Pistols, I suppose. Bit of close combat, but I never really use close combat. I could improve my willpower, but... and what good is it going to do? Okay. Let's go. You enter the room and find your team prepping. Their faces are grim. Iga looks up and locks eyes with you. Without looking away, she addresses the rest of the team. With Apex down, we have our opening. The estate's automated defences will be offline. Attacking the holdfast will be doable now. Still risky, but doable. Blitz stops what he's doing and shakes his head. Yeah, we got an opening, sure, but to do what? I mean, with everything we just learned, what's our new plan? She shrugs. We entered the estate, locate Vauclair, shut him down. Same plan, different target. It's very possible Apex fabricated the confit. Vauclair might still be innocent. I doubt it. My gut tells me what we saw was real, and second-guessing ourselves isn't going to get us anywhere. Glory pauses, considering, then nods. Fair point. Dietrich, who's basically non-existent to me now. Okay, so let's assume Vauclair is the one who's behind all this. What's he doing in the lab? How does the dragon tie into this? I mean, the whole thing was always about rescuing the old man from Firewing. Is she still in the picture at all? Has she ever been? After what Apex showed us, I don't even know what we're trying to stop anymore. At last, all that I see is a lot of dead bodies, with no explanation why. It doesn't matter why Volker killed Monica and Paul and all those other people in the cruise bazaar. All that matters is he did. I'm going to bury him for that. You're welcome to help. I, for one, want answers. Amsa said there was a lot of money flowing into the Hartfield estate, and he found evidence that a bioweapon was being stockpiled there. Whatever Volker was doing, he had epics. Killed his own brother to hide it, and then to find out what that is. Oh my glory. I want answers and we're going to get them. There's a moment of silence as the group pauses to consider your words. Finally, Iger steps forward. Alright, fearless leader, you go looking for your answers. I won't get in your way, and when the time comes to put a bullet in Beauclair's brain, I'll be there to make it happen. This is your show, Chief. Whatever you choose to do, I'll come along for the ride. We're going to find out what's happened at Holdfast, and then we're going to stop it. You lead and I'll follow, boss. You can stay here and rest. Iger glances at you and cocks her head. Looks like the team's good to go. What's our next move? When we hit the estate, find Beauclair and extract whatever information we can. Improvise from there. Sounds straightforward enough. Iger raises his hand. Word of caution, Sir Edenstar. Our objective may be simple, but taking the same approach that we took last time would be a mistake. What would you suggest? I've been reviewing the intel that Alice sent us and comparing it to what I gathered on our original run. There's been a substantial increase in the number of heat signatures on the ground. That means new security troops. Lots of them. Great. Do they know we're coming? She slings her rifle over her shoulder. That just means we'll be fighting in a target-rich environment. Dietrich cracked his knuckles. Works for me. So we'll want to get into the lab area as quickly as possible, so I suggest bypassing the main floor of the estate entirely. We could enter via the servants' entrance that you escaped through last time. Unfortunately, they've blocked off the route we used between the stables and the tree line. That means we're going to have to fight our way there. Once we're in, how do we find Beauclair? The labs that Beauclair was talking about wasn't on the ground floor, so it's either in the basement or a sub-level. We go down and we scour every level till we find it. It might take a while. The facility could be massive. There was clearly a lot more to it than we saw. We've got no way of knowing how far underground the complex extends. We go in prepared for an expanded search then. Iger looks down, checking her gear. Ammo won't be a problem. Okay, people, time to go. You got something to say? Speak up now. There's nothing to say. We'll do what we have to do. Okay then, finish gearing up and head to the tunnel back at the back of the safe house. I'll meet you where we stashed the van. There's a note atop the box. Sarah Evenstar III. The Lodge thanks you for your dutiful service. Open the box. Ooh. Wow. Okay, let's have a look at my equipment, just quickly. Prototype combat suit, that's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, let's have a chat to Dante. Oh, pet him. Woof. Woof indeed. Okay, let's talk to Glory one last time. Everything still okay with you? You never need to worry about crime you're sporting. It's not a story I'm interested in. Out of context. If you really want to get into it, we're going to need to go back, way back. I'm not sure you want to do that. Let's talk about it. Why do you care? There's no hostility in her voice. If anything, she sounds suspicious. Because I'm the leader of this team and I need to know as much as I can about runners who are working with me. She pauses for a moment considering, then she nods. Alright, fine, we can talk. We're doing it on my terms. It's a long story, Sarah Evenstar, long and ugly and cruel. You sure you want to hear it? Please. Alright, I'm going to start at the beginning, not for you, for me. I guess it might help me say all this out loud. She takes a deep breath and then slowly releases it. When she speaks, her voice comes out in a cool monotone. My family lived in Stuttgart. It was a nice place, I suppose. My parents worked as wage slaves for IFMU. My mum was a good person. Once upon a time, my father was a decent person as well. That's what my mum always told me, but I never knew him that way. She She pauses for a long moment, and then she begins speaking again. Some of the ice has fallen away from her voice. For the first time since she met her, Glory sounds alive. The dad that I knew was old, damaged Euro war vet who turned to a hardline religion to make sense of the world. In Stuttgart that meant either the Ritter Christi or their fascist cousins, the Kreuzritters. My father chose the latter path. I still remember hiding in my room when my father had his Kreuzritter brothers over for a prayer group. They would drink, get rowdy, and then spend an hour or two riling themselves up with talk about heretics or the devil's work. Then they go and find some poor elf or dwarf, stomp the living shit out of him and drown him in the Neckar. Meanwhile, I'll be holed up at home with Mum, who would commemorate the event by drinking a bottle of wine and crying herself to sleep. I'm sorry, Glory. No child should have to grow up around that. Thanks, Sir Evenstar. This is difficult for me. Thank you for making it easier. Anyway, aside from the fact that my dad and his buddies were a bunch of murderous assholes, life was pretty normal. I went to school, made friends, hung out with my mum, kid stuff. Then I turned 14 and everything went to shit. Glory pauses, then swallows hard, ever so slightly, her cheeks flush red. Suddenly she looks self-conscious, as if she just snapped out of a trance. As quickly as it came, the flush of emotion disappears. Her voice frosts over. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Airing this stuff out is clearly helping you work through it. Yes, it is. Glory stares at you through cold, dead eyes, but I'm not going to be able to get through this in one sitting. You need to understand that. She turns away from you, her movement mechanical. Now let's get back to the job at hand, shall we? God damn it! I don't have any more time, girl! First time since you met her, Glory's expression seems to brighten. It's subtle, but it's there, you're sure of it. Pleasure as always. Need anything from me? How you doing, Glory? Ah, if I didn't know any better, I think you're warming up to me. She studies your face for responding. I suppose you might say that. I don't talk to many people, Sir Evenstar. It just doesn't seem to be worth the effort. But I don't really feel much anymore, not since this. If that's true, why are you still talking to me? I suppose it's because you've shown an interest and you haven't let me push you away. I don't want to mislead you, Sir Evenstar. I still don't feel anything, not warmth or friendship or even trust. But I can appreciate the effort you're making. It's something new and worthy of exploring. You ready to tell me about the crime you're sporting? You said when things went bad when you turned 14. I'd like to keep talking about that. Please, please, please. Oh! I don't see a reason to. Because I don't see a reason to. The memories are unpleasant and dredging what doesn't serve any real purpose. You're wrong about that. The last time we talked it had an impact on you. That's reason enough to continue. Yes! She pauses. A moment. Consider your words. A troubled look on her face. I suppose that's true. Feeling discomfort is better than feeling nothing at all. Okay. Right then. So we are going to get through this before the end of the game. Alright, so here's the deal, Sir Evenstar. I'm going to talk to you. Listen. When I'm done, no complaints, no arguments, and we'll see what happens. Deal? Deal. Right. The 1,000-meter stare creeps back into her eyes. A moment later, she's locked away in her own head again, reliving memories that she'd long since filed away. So a few days after my 14th birthday, I began to express magically. You're magically active? I was. Glory gestures at her cyberware riddled body. Not anymore. There's another long pause, and Glory became more animated. Anyway, I turned 14. I awakened. I don't even remember how my parents found out about it anymore. I think my dad caught me playing with a tiny city spirit that I coaxed out of a pile of garbage, something like that. With everything that's happened afterwards, those days are kind of a blur. What I do remember is my father's response to the revelation that his little girl was a witch, a hex. He beat the living shit out of me with his fists, and then belt, and then a claw hammer, and then he grabbed out of his toolbox. All the while my mother was screaming and flailing at him. She took a couple of licks with the hammer too. It's a miracle you survived. I'm just lucky, I guess. So finally, after what felt like an hour, Dad stopped tuning me up with a hammer. I had broken ribs, a busted arm, I couldn't see out of my left eye, and my entire right side was covered with one giant bruise. I was bleeding all over the place, making a real mess of the carpet. The old bastard spat on me, his bleeding, crying daughter. He spat on me and told me I was der Teufelshuur, the devil's whore. Then he kicked me out of the house. As I was crawling away, my father told me if he or any of his Kreuzritter brothers ever saw me again, they'd treat me as the Berlin chapter treats the enemies of God. If you're not familiar with how the Kreuzritters here in Berlin deal with heretics, it's decidedly less pretty than what my dad and his buddies did to their victims. I got the hint, and the next morning I hitched the ride out of Stuttgart. Go on, Gloria. I wound up in Tübingen. I figured it would be safe enough a place to find medical attention, and maybe to call home. It's not far from Stuttgart. but it has a huge student community, and I figured I could blend into. And the university there has a decent magic department. My dad dropped me off at the university hospital, and they patched me up pretty good. Had some questions from me about how I got so beaten up, but I lied and told them I'd been mugged, which played nicely into my complete lack of cash, credit, and identification. Glory pauses for a moment, looks down at the floor, and then fixes her eyes on you. She's visibly tensed. We're going to fast forward through the next few years. I was a kid on the street. I got by as best I could doing whatever I had to do. So the rest we can leave up to your imagination. Good? You did what you had to do. No stranger to that myself. I don't think anyone working in the shadows is. She nods. I figured you'll understand. So anyway, I lived on the street for a few years. Got used to being hungry all the time. Got used to being rained on. Got by. I was painfully aware that I had magical talents, but without any kind of training or guidance, I didn't really know how to use or develop them. Truth be told, they scared me, so I more or less ignored them. So it just sort of went on like that until a few days after my 17th birthday, when I met Martha, and everything changed. Martha was a sweet girl. At first I took her for a street kid like me. Her clothes were a little ratty, but she seemed comfortable being near me. But she looked so well fed and happy. And those were two things I hadn't been in years. We started hanging out, and before I knew what was happening, I was in love. There was a genuine attraction between Martha and me, I think. But also I think a lot of my affection for her came from the fact that she was the first person in years to give a damn about me. She cared, and I loved her for that. Glory pauses. She looks flustered, her composure cracked. Keep going, Glory. She stares at you forbidden and nods. A few ragged breaths later she continues. Martha told me about a place where she'd be hanging out. She invited me to join her here. There. It was called Feuerstelle, a fireplace, and it was sort of a commune for the dispossessed youth. I'm terribly sorry about my German pronunciations, by the way, as I'm reading this. They're probably absolutely terrible. It turns out that a lot of the street kids I'd known over the years had moved there, the way they'd been disappeared. I'd assumed they'd been kidnapped or killed, or had gone back to their parents, but they were. I remember being kind of angry about it. Like, how did everybody get the memo about this but me? Mother calmed me down. She was good at helping me work through my feelings, and I wound up following her to Feuerstelle. To a street kid, it was basically paradise. The owner, a guy named Harris, had set up this little farm just outside Tübingen, in the Schönbuck forest. The Schönbuck is officially a nature park, but not many people go there nowadays. Too much fear of paranormal animals, I guess. Anyway, park or not, it was plenty big enough for us to hide in. It was also safe and pretty, and the farm was well stocked with food. Most importantly, Feuerstelle gave us the sense of community and the stability we never had on the street, and we loved Harrow for it. He became like a surrogate father to us. Glory pauses again, and you recognise the distinctive flush in her cheeks. She seems to have come out of her reverie once again. That's enough for now. I need to process all of this, and I don't want to continue forward until I've had the chance to do that. I know all this happened years ago, but I guess it's still pretty raw to me, so I'm going to ask you to give me some space for a while. She turns away, and the frost begins to creep back into her voice. We can back it up later. Pick it back up later. No! We can't! We don't have time! Thanks for you. She pauses. You know what, actually, first time, it's something crime sporting. Be patient, Sarah and Star. The explanation for that is coming. Look at Annie's flits across her face. I'm not sure you're going to like it, though. You need time, and I gave you time. All 10 seconds of it! Are you ready to talk about Fiesta yet? Yeah. Of course you are! Brilliant news! Glory looks troubled, even more so than you've ever seen her before. Whatever memory she's dredging up must be exceedingly painful. I'm not going to lie, I haven't been looking forward to this, but yeah, it's time. Sarah Edenstar, look, I'm about to tell you some things about myself that might change your opinion of me. It's entirely possible that you're going to hate me based on what's coming up next. I doubt it. I've accepted that, and if that's what happens, I sincerely believe that I deserve it. She just needs a hug. She looks you in the eye and her expression grim. So tell me, are you sure you wish to keep pushing forward with this? This is important for you, Gloria. After everything we've been through, I think we both know that whatever you have to tell me, I'm ready to listen. Thanks, Sarah Star. Thank you for being a friend. So when we left off last time, I had just moved from the streets of Tübingen to the warm, inviting confines of Feuerstelle. Martha and I were happy there for a little while, and Harrow embraced me as a long-lost daughter. I should probably take a moment to talk about Harrow. He's going to be an important figure in this story. I don't know what his age was. He seemed old enough to be paternal, but young enough to hang with the kids or on something like a peer level. Best guess, I'd say he was in his mid-20s. He was handsome and well-built, a neatly trimmed beard and a thick brown hair. There was something else about him, something uncanny. Harrow had this charisma, this raw magnetic attraction that just made people latch onto him. I saw it over and over. All it took was a few words, a pat on the shoulder, and Harrow would have a new convert. The other kids at the farm followed him around like lost puppies. As much as I loved Martha, and as much as I thought she loved me, we forgot all about one another when Harrow was around. All that we wanted was to be close to him, to be part of his inner circle, and soon enough we were. For a girl at 17, it wasn't all terribly exciting. Harrow had these rules of living that he would teach us, rules about self-determination and the importance of disobedience. He claimed to have taught classes at the university of Berlin, which he painted as a mix between an earthly paradise and an anarchist playground. He told us how Stella would be a focal point of a new movement for the children of the fatherland. He told us we were special. We ate it up, of course. We were kids. For those of us in the inner sanctum, Harrow was sure even more. He had power the likes of which I had never seen. Not my father's drunken fists or my own childish experiments, but genuine, incredible power. He said it came from the horned god, an ancient deity that he venerated. He knew about my latent abilities right away, and he offered to teach me. Naturally, I accepted. I've heard of the horned god. His followers have a poor reputation, especially amongst women. Any bad reputations he might have gained is well deserved, but there was more to it than that, as you'll see. Glory sides. Hang with me, Sarah. Even star, or a fortress ahead. So I became Harrow's apprentice. He taught me to channel magic and summon spirits. He taught me rituals and pagan traditions, Machiavellian philosophy and Nietzschean ethics. Above all else, he taught me to connect with his horned god, and through it I learned power and arrogance, and it was all downhill from there. For the next few years I lived at Fiostella's Harrow's enforcer and right-hand guard. I was also his sometimes wife and concubine. But that was a distinction that I shared with all the girls in the commune, including my beloved Martha. I came to learn that she'd been his long before she met me. But by that point I didn't care. I'd embraced the rules of living. I was Harrow's creature through and through. I didn't ask questions, and I walked the path that was in front of me. Great! A sex cult! As a fun facts about those years, I learned cruelty. I had power now, and my new idol encouraged me to use it. Harrow did the same. Any children who didn't pull their weight were subjected to my tender mercies, and I was anything but tender. I took what I wanted rather than asking for it. I liked it. It was fun. I also came to learn that Harrow's horned god was not Einfirst worshipped by Eichenfirst worshipped by throwback cults across Germany. It was certainly a god with horns, but it came from an altogether different tradition. Get a hazard a guess? I want to hear you say it. Satan, Lucifer, Old Scratch. In the magically active community we refer to it as the adversary. Whatever you choose to call it, it's every bit as bad as it sounds. So my idol, the ancient deity that was feeding me my power, was the antithesis of everything that is right and good. And you know what? I didn't care. In our time together, Harrow and I committed more atrocities than I could account. At this point I was onto all of his tricks. I knew Fiostella's was nothing more than a honey trap, carefully designed to lure local children into my master's clutches. I knew that the kids who seemed resistant to Harrow's brainwashing techniques wound up fertilizing the garden. I knew that Harrow's entire manifesto was bullshit, and I knew that through it all Harrow and the adversary were laughing, because I was laughing right there beside them. I don't want to pin the blame for my decisions on anyone but me. That said, I would like to posit that my father's connection to the Crusaders might have helped play into my willingness to serve the adversary. In my warped, indoctrinated little brain, I equated the church with evil, so the opposite of that I figured had to be, well, if not good, then at least not totally bad. But I was kidding myself, of course. My new deity was the very definition of bad, serving that made me bad. End of story. I don't think any of this was your fault. I think Harrow was the one that deserves blame. And what if he was indoctrinated into the service of the adversary when he was my age? Would he not be at fault anymore either? She shakes her head. No, Sarah, Harrow certainly deserves some of the blame for what I became, maybe even most of it. But personal responsibility has to come into the equation somewhere. I made my own choices, and they were horrible ones. I've accepted that. You should too. She pauses. Recollect herself, looks haggard, her pale cheeks are flushed blood red. She swallows hard and then presses forward. Anyway, one day Harrow invited me on a field trip to Stuttgart. Over the years I was at Fiostella's. The community had easily doubled in size. It was thriving, all thanks to the efforts of Martha and the girls like her. Harrow would send the girls out to neighbouring cities to lure in the street kids that nobody would miss. He targeted children because they were easy to indoctrinate, and because nothing makes adversary happier than the corruption of the innocent. As we drove out to pick up the new recruits, I was already planning how. This is a long story. It was a foregone conclusion that I would pay my father a visit. The irony of the group of crusaders getting emulated by a genuine servant of the actual devil tickled me no end. So when Harrow stopped to fill up on diesel, I hopped out of the van and headed out on foot to my parents' place. Harrow wasn't overly concerned about my absence. I had long since reached the point where I could assert my autonomy, and he knew I'd be back. I wound up at my folks' house sometime around noon. I could hear the adversary whispering in my ear, telling me what to do. I had long since learned to listen to its voice. It always rewarded me with extra power when I did its bidding. It told me to knock, so I did. As the door opened, I could feel a torrent of flames welling up into the astral plane around me. I told him to channel it into the doorway, into my father, so I did. But of course the person who opened the door wasn't my father. It was my mother. As I watched her flash back and then melt and I heard her scream, I broke into hysterics. I heard the adversary laugh. At that moment I realised that he was laughing at me. I'm so sorry, Glory. Glory nods, a grim expression on her delicate face. Thanks, we're almost at the end now. Thanks for sticking with me. It was like a lever that had been pulled all at once. The bubble popped. I wasn't a powerful servant to the adversary. I was not Harrow's #1 girl. It was ridiculous. I was a ridiculous little fool who'd willingly tied her soul to the worst thing in existence. Realising all of this was one thing, actually fixing it was something else entirely. I knew that I had to get away from Harrow. That was the first thing to do, so I bit my lip and did my best to ignore the happy bubble of new recruits on the trip back to Fustella. I managed to get through the ride without screaming. Once we were back at the commune, I broke into Harrow's safe, stole all of the commune's resources and ran. I don't know when Harrow realised what I'd done or whether he even cared. All that I know is that nobody came after me, so I kept running and running until I got to Berlin. Getting past the wall was very simple. You know how easy it is to obtain falsified papers. The biggest obstacle that I faced during my flight was the adversary itself. I could run from Harrow, but how do you run from something that is tied to your own soul? Oh God, Glory. The wonder look in Glory's eyes is heartbreaking. She gives you another curt, grim nod. I walked into the office of the first street dock I could find, pointed at all the biggest, bulkiest pieces of cyberware that he had on display, and told him to put them in me. He tried to upsell me on better merchandise, arguing that what I wanted asking for was old and inefficient, better suited to be installed in the museum than a body. He told me that I'd be shredding my essence, that once it was gone I'd never be able to get it back. I stuck to my guns. After all, shredding my essence was the whole point. Glory looks up at you, her eyes are sunken and hollow, and the aura of loss about her is palpable. She looks like a woman who'd been through hell. That's all now, Sarah. You've had to tell, and you know I am the way I am, and you know the things I've done and how much I had to atone for. If you still want my company, fine. If I've lost your friendship, I understand that too. But for now, I need to be alone. No, you don't! You need to answer more questions! She waves at you with a weak smile, her expression cautious. You're suddenly aware of how very small she is. Hi, Sarah, you start. I've got to admit, I've been dreading this. Now you've done what I am. You're here to tell me off. I wouldn't blame you if you were. Great struggling about how you'd expect. We left a bad place last time. I've been thinking about your story and I have a question for you. Yeah, what's that? You're still looking for closure because you started a lot of loose ends that need to be tied up. You've got out of Fuse to the Harris Cult still up and running, right? Still full of kids who are being brainwashed. Shouldn't we do something about that? Yes, I do think that Fustella is a problem that needs solving, but it can't happen just now. Apex is down for close long ago. We can't take the time to deal with my issues right now. They can wait. Alright, but keep it in mind, okay? She nods. I will. Damn it! We could have probably done that if we'd have got through earlier. God damn it! Yeah. Okay. God damn it, we should have done that earlier. Bollocks. Anyway. If you enjoyed the basically reading episode with an annoying and irritating conclusion that we could have probably done something else with this game before the final confrontation, please subscribe. If not, do not worry about it. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you next time when we start what may or may not, but probably is, the final bit of this game. Anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. Goodbye.